Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining today's webinar. My name's Darren Crawley, Channel Account Manager for Cloud for Partners, and I'd like to welcome you to our monthly webinar, which is geared towards our Global Business One Partner Network, enabling you to get valuable insights into many of the third-party applications and SSPs that are available to the community to enhance the functionality of SAP Business One. My colleague today is Mandy Rai, who is the UK Managing Director for Solver BI 360. I will introduce Mandy shortly. Before we go into the details of today's agenda, I just wanted to go through some housekeeping rules for those who've joined us for the first time today. Firstly, the webinar is due to last for no longer than 30 minutes, and during that time I will hand over to Mandy to give some details or further insights into the company, Solver, and also the product which Solver are making available to the B1 community, that's BI 360. The product itself is designed to ensure that businesses can make world-class decisions, and Mandy will explain how that powerful technology is deployed. But first and foremost, we'll give you a little introduction to the company itself. We'll also give you an overview of BI 360. There'll be a demonstration of the product in its live format. And in the last 5 to 10 minutes, we'll conduct a Q&A. At the moment, all delegates are on mute. There is an opportunity to ask questions through the chat box that's available on your GoToWebinar interface. So please, while the demonstration and presentations take place, please do feel free to type in any questions that spring to mind, and we'll collate all those at the end and give Mandy the opportunity to answer those as fully and as frankly as she can. So without further ado, I'd just like to hand over to Mandy.
So my name is Mandy Rai. Thank you for the introduction, Darren, and I am the UK Managing Director for Solver. I'm here to talk to you about how our tool BI 360 can help enable world-class decisions within your client organisations. So let's move on to who we are and what we do. So we are a global organisation that is a leader in corporate performance management solutions. We've been established for over 20 years now. If some of you remember Excel Reporter or XLR, we were actually the developers behind that. That tool was made available within SAP Business One as part of their report designing tool up until I believe at version 9. Like I said, we were the developers of that, and then we developed BI 360 as we saw a gap in the market for a corporate performance management tool for mid-market organizations. Currently to date, we are a 140 employee strong organization with over 2,500 customers globally. Our tool is easy to use, it's flexible, it's using Excel to be able to create the report design. Our customers love it, and that's why we have a 95% customer retention rate. We're also, in terms of our growth, we're on an average growth year on year of 22%. I have to stress that is organic. We're not backed by any VC or investors. Everything's owned by the global management, and our growth comes from us pumping in our revenue into our product suite and developing that further. In terms of our global presence, we do have over 15 offices or locations across the world. Don't know if you can see that map at the bottom there, but there's some green dots highlighting where our offices are. We're growing every year. I think already so far we've opened 3 locations which aren't listed on my list here on the right hand side. However, we do work with partners. So we work with a number of ERP specific partners. So partners like yourself, where you are specific in selling a ERP solution like SAP Business One. We want to work with partners like yourself to resell our product suite BI360 into your clients as an add-on solution. Globally, we are working with over 150 partners. Like I said, they are ERP specific. SAP Business One is one of them. We have a few others that we also work with in terms of ERP systems. And in the UK, we have about 10 partners, a mix of different ERP solutions. But I would say out of the 65 clients that we have, 70% of them are SAP Business One users. So in terms of the UK, it's a high growth for us in terms of the market, which is the SAP Business One market. And you know, if any of your clients would be interested in BI360 post this presentation, then we can definitely offer some type of referral or reference in terms of the existing clients that we have. So let's move on to a BI360 overview. So what's the core areas within our product? Well, we look at BI360 budgeting. So budgeting is one of the core areas. BI360 reporting, BI360 dashboards, and BI360 data warehouse. Now we've only got another 15 to 20 minutes, including Q&A, left to show you of our product. So unfortunately, due to time, we will be focusing more on the BI360 reporting element. If you are interested to see any of the other elements in more detail, then we can definitely arrange for that post this presentation. So let's look at BI360 reporting. What's interesting and good about BI360 reporting? Well, first of all, we're using Excel-based report design. So we are keeping report designers in a familiar and flexible environment. I like to say that we're leveraging the strengths of Excel and eliminating its weaknesses. So we are a add-in to Excel. You will see our ribbon when you load up Excel if you use BI360, and you can start using BI360 as well as leveraging Excel's features as well. Because of this, because it's flexible and it's familiar, you know, it's easy to create financial and operational reports. And all reports that are created are published and available through our web portal, which is accessed through a web browser and also can be accessed through the mobile phone. And most importantly, we have out-of-the-box integrations for SAP Business One SQL, HANA, and if any of you also sell Business by Design, we do have a connector that will be due to be released soon for Business by Design. In the demonstration today, I will try and show a budgeting input form to show you a little bit about our budgeting module. Again, it's Excel-based form design. It's a web-based input, so people that will need to input data, or the budget holders, will be inputting the data into the form via the web portal. We have a workflow, so you can track where everyone is in terms of the budgeting process, and obviously the out-of-box integrations. We have BI360 dashboards, which are Excel-based charts. I will not have time to show this today. However, the most important key point to our dashboards is that we do support third-party dashboards. For example, Power BI, we have an API that will connect directly through to Power BI, so you can create some fantastic dashboards from that. And then again, I won't have time to show this, but we have BI360 Data Warehouse, which is our best kept secret. So if you have any clients that want to report or budget on multiple data sources, so they might have data coming in from their CRM system or payroll system that they want to then consolidate with the SAP Business One system and start creating reports and budget on that sort of data, then the data warehouse is, like I said, the best kept secret, because you can connect to multiple data sources. It's easy to configure. It has integrations and cloud connectors for our cloud data warehouse. For our on-premise version, it's based on SQL Server, and for our cloud deployments, it is based on SQL Azure. The next slide is just a snippet or a snapshot of our architecture for BI360. So just to show you in a graphical format exactly what I've discussed in the previous slide. If you have multiple data sources that you want to consolidate and hold, then you can use the BI360 data warehouse, where we connect to multiple data sources. That will be your one version of the truth, your central hub in terms of your data. And then you can report on that data and budget on the data within the data warehouse. If you are just looking to report and budget on data from SAP Business One SQL, for example, then we have live integrations that you can connect, and then that will just be the live integration with live integration to your database within SAP Business One, and you can report and budget on that as well. So without further ado, I do apologise, that was a quick snippet of who we are and what we do. I'm going to move on to the demonstration, and we'll try and show as much as we can in the next 10 to 15 minutes in terms of the reporting and budgeting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to the web portal. Every user will be given a username and password to log in for their credentials into the application. I just have to pre-warn you that I will be logging in as an admin user, which means I will have access and see pretty much everything within BI360. So the reason why I'm warning you about that is, as an end user, you wouldn't have access to all the menu options within BI360. And I will highlight to you what we will be covering today when I log in. So when I first log in, I'll be greeted with the home screen. These are just shortcuts to certain pieces within BI360. I can stay up to date with any news, log a support call and so forth. I want to show this feature, which is if you have a client that is multilingual, then BI360 can accommodate that. You can change your profile setting as an end user to a different language. So I'll change it to Spanish, as you can see here. I'm not going to do the demonstration in this because I would not know where to go. So I'm just going to turn it back to English. But I just wanted to show that that feature that we have. We are adding more languages as we speak, as we further develop the application. So like I mentioned, I'm logged in as an admin user, which means I have access to everything within the portal. However, I'm going to focus on a few key points. So first of all, we have two types of end users. So end users are those that will be consuming the reports that have been created. The two types of end users we have are archive and live reporting, and there are differences in those two. I'm going to first off show you live reporting users. So as an end user that wants to look at a report within BI360, a live reporting user has the ability to open up a report that has been published to them. So for example, I can open up this P&L modern report. And as a live reporting user, I have the ability to select my own parameters. So what that means is, for example, in this report, I have the ability to select a different entity. So it could be department, it could be entity, depends on how this report is created. So I'm going to change this, for example, to corporate US. I can change the period if I wish to as well. And I can say, actually, I want to see this period instead. And what I can do now is I can actually run this report. So at the moment, it's looking at EMEA, which is what I opened it up as. But as soon as I click run, this is now capturing the most recent information as per my ERP database or the data warehouse. Depends on which option you've gone for. Now, in my scenario, it's actually capturing the most recent information from my data warehouse. And this is the most live information that's coming through. So now I'm pulling the most recent information through, and I can see, the headline figures. I can see the charts that we have here. I can see from the report that I'm looking at the actual month versus last year, the variance, the budget, which again, I can change the budget scenario if I wish to. So if I'm using the budgeting module, I can have a number of scenarios. I could have the budget scenario that I entered in earlier this year. I could have a budget scenario that I entered in or was entered in maybe the second half of this year, and I can change that scenario to represent in this report. As a live reporting user, I also have the ability to actually say, okay, well, this is great. I'm looking at the P&L report here. Oh, okay, let's look at full-time salary. What's going on here? I want to be able to drill down, and I can do so. I can drill down into the general ledger information, and that will then open up a separate tab to represent the transactional level detail here. So I can see the department description, I can see further detail of that main line as a live reporting user. A couple of other features in terms of the live reporting user is I can export this report to Excel, I can print it, and I can just view the history. Again, the history is here. So previously I've selected corporate EMEA, I've selected this period, and quite instantly it changes that report for me. So the main benefit or the difference of the live reporting user is the ability to select your own parameters. Now, let's move on to the archive user. This is the second type of end user that we have. The archive user is a user that has the ability to view executed reports. So you'll notice that P&L modern report that I viewed earlier, I was able to select the parameters as a live reporting user. But as an archive user, I can see that the parameters have already been selected for me. So this is an archived report. It's basically a static report that I'm viewing. So if I open up this report, I'll show you the difference. As you can see, the report looks exactly the same, but I don't have the option to select those tabs, those parameters at the top. I'm just viewing the static information. The difference is that I still have the ability to drill down, so I can still do that drill down as I were able to in the live reporting user. I still have the ability to export the report and print it, and this just eliminates the headers and columns. So that's one of the differences with the archive user. I just don't have the ability to select my parameters. The other features of the archive user is the ability to view multiple reports on one screen. So for example, I'm going to select these two reports here. I'm just going to go into open, and now I can do a split screen of two reports, and I can change that view if I wish to, and I can do analysis by having two reports side by side. Again, a second feature of the archive report users. The third feature is something that I actually think is really powerful, is our playlists. Now, our playlists is the ability to package a number of reports together to create a report pack. So, for example, we've got one here called monthly presentation that has been created. It's got these reports all packaged together. And what I can do is I can select all those reports and say show playlist. Now, what's the benefit of this? Well, if I'm in a monthly presentation, rather than using PowerPoint, I can use BI360 to show the reports that are available to me as an archive user. And it's a nice tool and a nice feature to have in replacement of PowerPoint. So here we go. We've got a table of contents here that we can talk through. I can talk through to the next report, and you can see the pop-ups down here that are the different reports that I have packaged into this playlist. Again, as an archive user and through the playlist, I still have that drill down capability, so I can still drill down. So if I'm in a presentation and I'm looking at this report, the P&L variance, and someone says, okay, where's this, how have we spent 730,000 on product revenue? Well, I can drill down into that information and say, well, it's all gone on sales and marketing. And I have the ability to do that. So the key main differences between live reporting and archive, as you can see, archive has the playlist, the multi-report view, screen view, and the main difference is the fact that you're viewing executed reports. Live reporting enables you to select your parameters and refresh the data as per in your data warehouse or the database, whether it's coming from SAP Business One or whether you're looking at the data warehouse. So how are these reports created? So as a report designer, within the web portal, I can click on new here, and I'm just going to create a demo report. I appreciate that we've only got 5 minutes left. I'm going to try to do this in a couple of minutes, as well as show you a budgeting input form if I can. I'm just going to go create here, and what it will do, it will now load up Excel. So it's going through the web portal, it's connecting through to Excel. And there you go, I have Excel presented here. And on the left-hand side, it's now got the BI360 Report Designer functionality here for me. What you will notice is in my instance, it's connected to the data warehouse, and it's pulling through all the modules within the data warehouse. So I can see I've got my general ledger module, I've got my accounts receivable. Within each module, I have dimensions. Within each dimension, I have attributes and fields and so forth. So all of this is in my data warehouse. It could be coming straight from your database. So if you're using SAP Business One SQL, for example, we could be pulling through over 10,000 fields from your SAP Business One database, presenting that into BI360 so that you can then start creating reports. You will notice this is Excel. This is Excel. The only difference is that you will see the BI360 reporting ribbon here, and this is the BI360 functionality that you have. But I can still use Excel as normal. So I'm going to create a demo report, and I'm just going to highlight that a little bit. I'm just going to bring in a header. And this is why BI360 is loved, is because it's easy to use. You do not have to be a coder or anyone technical at all to be able to create reports. All you have to do is drag and drop. So I'm going to drag my account in here. It's saying to me you have more than one account. You've got a selection group. How would you like that presented? I'm going to say by row, so it cascades down. Within my account, I'm going to bring my description in. And then I want to look at a period. So I'm going to bring in my period, which is over here. And then, of course, with period, it's saying, well, if you look at multiple periods, how would you want that selection group presented? I'm going to say by column. And then, obviously, we need to look at a measure. So we want to analyze this by a measure. So I'm just going to bring in monthly amount. So just drag that in here. I'm going to format this slightly. And what I'm going to do as a report designer, so I'm in the design tab here, if you can see on the left-hand side. What I'm going to do is actually preview what this would look like for an end user, so for a live reporting user. So I'm actually going to go into the Run tab and just validate what this looks like. And I'm going to select a period. So I'm just going to go in time to this 09/2021, and I'm going to click Run. Now, what this is now doing is every time I click Run, it's now capturing the most recent information from, in my instance, the data warehouse. But like I said, it could be your database, your SAP Business One database. And here you go. It's captured now all the accounts, the descriptions for that specific period for me with their amounts. I'm going to go back into the Design tab, and I'm just going to format this slightly a little bit more. I'm just going to create a sum of the total here. I'm just going to call this subtotal. And again, because we're using Excel, we can use all the Excel formulas that we wish to. Everything in Excel you can do with the added benefit of using BI360. I'm just going to copy and paste this here. Now, the reason why I've done this is because I want to show you this box that's been hovering around in the right-hand side. This box is called the Layout Editor. It enables me to create filters and groupings of my report here. So one thing you will notice is that it's got a green dot and a box everywhere it recognises a filter. So I'm going to go into row 7 here, and it's automatically created a filter for account. I can delete that if I wish to and drag and drop another filter in. However, I'm going to stay here. And what I'm going to do is say, actually, I want to filter on these specific accounts. So I'm going to take all my accounts that have a revenue in there, and I'm just going to click OK and filter on that. I'm going to go to row 10, and again, I'm going to go this time, I'm going to say all my accounts that begin with 5, which should be my COGS. And on row 13, I'm going to go with all of my accounts that begin with 6-1, which should be my salaries. I'm just going to change that over here. I appreciate we've only got a minute or so left, but I just want to show you this very quickly. If I can spell. And this time, what I'm going to do is just run this report for you. Again, I'll leave it in that period. Let's just click run there, and there you go. It's now sectioned my report as I wanted to view it. The next step would be to add a gross margin, gross result, add some conditional formatting and so forth. Once I've got the report exactly the way I want to see it, I can click save. That report has now been saved as a draft in my portal here, something that you didn't see before. If I go back into the portal and I click on the same period I had before, and I'll just go for another period, sorry. Use value, click run. It's now picking up the most recent information that I have, and it will represent that report here. And there you go, there's that report. Before we finish off, and I do apologise, it was very short, I just want to quickly show you a budget input form. So we do have the budgeting module. All the input forms are created in Excel, just exactly as I've shown you there. And then once you publish them to the web portal, budget holders can then go in and start entering in the budget information. So for example, I've got a budget template here where I'm looking at, I need to enter in the budget for the year ahead. I'm looking at the actuals versus the forecast. The scenarios are all here, so I'm entering the budget for the US, for this department and this period, for example. And what I can go and do is in the yellow fields is just enter in a budget amount. We are rendering Excel, so I could use Excel formulas. So hopefully you can see my formula here. I'm just going to go that one times 1.50 and do that there. I can delete all that if I wish to. Once I've entered in my budgets, all I need to do is save data. That will then go through the approval stage in terms of the budgets, and then that can then, once it's been approved, get stored into either the data warehouse, if that's the option you go for, and we can also push it back into the database as well. One of the other key benefits of the budgeting is, for example, on this main line here, we can do our spreading element. So I can take this and say I want to spread this evenly if I wish to. And I can also budget on line item detail as well for this main line. We unfortunately don't have time to show you that today because I have gone 2 minutes over, but that's all we have time for. If you are interested to see BI360 further, please do get in touch with either myself or Darren, and we can take things further from there. Thank you all for your time, and I guess I will pass over to Darren now for a Q&A if we have anyone still waiting.
Thank you, Mandy. That was very concise and a great insight into what is a very powerful yet versatile tool that can be used alongside SAP Business One. I've just been checking the chat box and we don't appear to have any immediate questions, Mandy, so I think you've done a very comprehensive job there. Just really we'll give the team that are on a little bit more time to type in anything that they may wish. And if there's no further questions, then obviously we'll wrap up. I'll just await any further input from the audience now. Mandy, was there anything else that you wanted to add while we were waiting for any questions from your perspective?
Yes, of course. So in terms of BI360 and pricing, we can start off on a low starting package of you can start off with 5 users for about £5,000 on an annual subscription basis. So you can start off pretty low. So if you do have clients that for 5 users, then that's sort of like a starting package, and then we can grow from there. Because I think it's important to sort of like give a price comparison. There's a lot more to BI360, so I was only able to show a very quick 30-second snippet of our budgeting, but we do consolidation in terms of multi-company consolidation. We do advanced currency consolidation. So if you have multiple entities and you want to report on group currency, and also report on individual entity currency, then we can do that as well. We can do through our planning, eliminations, adjustments. All of that is available within the budgeting and planning piece. That is a whole session by itself. You need at least an hour to be able to do that piece in itself. But like I said, if anyone is interested to look into even the reporting further, or the budgeting further, or even look at the data warehouse in a bit more detail, then we can do that on a separate session for sure.
Excellent. Thank you, Mandy. I'd like to thank you, Mandy, for your input today. It's been a very valuable insight. I'm sure the delegates appreciate your input as well. I just wanted to remind everyone that there is a monthly webinar available to all of our global network of partners. We run it on the final Wednesday of each month at midday GMT. So please look out for further postings on our LinkedIn page and also via Twitter for future webinars. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for all of our attendees today. If there are any questions that come in post webinar, please direct them directly to Mandy herself. Alternatively, email Darren Crawley at mycloudforpartners.com, and we'd be delighted to pick up on any questions post event. Thank you all very much for your time today. I can't see any further questions, so please have a great day, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.